Constipation is the most common side effect that people on Mounjaro and Wegovy talk to me about. I'm Zeinab, I'm the pharmacist from PillSorted, and I'll explain why does it happen, how can we prevent it, and what are the things that will stack up to make the constipation more chronic. I'm going to talk a little bit about the science behind why constipation happens. Okay, so there's two really important things. One is the muscles that are all in our digestive system. They push with a movement to get the food and waste coming out of our body. The other one is the amount of fluids that's in there. So that will help this movement and it will help the pushing out of the food along and out of our body. Okay, so these two are the important things, the fluid and the movement of the muscles. Now, lots of different things can cause the constipation. Okay, one of the important ones is actually not being hydrated enough. So if you don't have enough fluids, it'll be really hard and the poo will be really hard. The other one is actually not having enough bulk or volume in the digestive system. So that's where the fibers come in, and they're so important because they're the ones that will create the volume so the muscles can work easier and they can push the food along. The other one is not actually eating enough in the day or being sedentary most of the day. So sitting down makes the muscles all slow down and it will make it harder for food to be moved across. The other things is if you actually have the urge to go to the toilet and you ignore it, that can cause the constipation to come up as well. And medicine, I am going to talk a lot about the medications and supplements that can cause a stack up of different effects that will cause the constipation becoming chronic. Okay, also stress, anxiety, all of these have got a big effect on how comfortable you are and how easy your digestion is working. So how does your GLP medications affect it? They do two things. One is they actually work by slowing down your whole digestive system. So when they slow down the digestive system, it means food will linger around in your digestive system for much longer, and that makes the water be absorbed back and makes it get harder and you get constipated. The other thing is you're eating less. When you're eating less, there's much less bulk going through your digestive system, and that makes everything slow down and it makes it harder to push out the waste. Okay, is it actually constipation is a good question that we need to have an answer for. Okay, now what I mean by that is normal movement is very different person to person. So one person might not have a bowel movement once a week, another person might have 3 times per day. Okay, so it's a huge difference across the range, but everybody knows their own normal. Okay, and how has it got different? What we would call a constipation is you've had a couple of weeks of less than 3 bowel movements in the week, or you've been to the toilet and it's really hard and it's really difficult for you to get all of the poo out. So these are the definitions that we talk about constipation. Now I'm going to talk about how to treat it. I have covered this in a previous video before, but I'll first talk about lifestyle and then the medications that can support you with it. Okay, so the foundations are really important. What does that mean? Plenty of fluids in your diet, 2 to 3 liters in a day. So put a visual, have a cup, water bottle, anything, but have that 8 cups of liquids per day. That really makes a big difference. The other one is fiber. So there are lots of good natural fibers like flaxseed, like chia seeds, like pulses, like beans, lentils. All of these are amazing sources of fibers. The other one is movement. So even if it's just a couple of minutes in a day, even for babies, if you keep helping massage their feet, and for the elderly it works as well. So massage their feet, massage their legs, help them with a pulling, squatting motion. That really helps relieve the constipation. But for yourselves, movement, a couple of minutes per day will really help prevent the constipation from ever happening. Another important thing is about your toilet routine. It's really important to give yourself enough space and time to actually have a proper routine in the day. A funny example, I have a friend, she's a mother, and she was saying, I just hate going to the toilet and being cold all the time or knock at the door. It doesn't let me have bowel movement. So it's really important to make sure that you give yourself space and time for this important event. Okay, the other thing is If it's difficult for you to get the poo out, raising your feet a little bit. So imagine a child who's bending down squatting, their knees are a bit higher than their hip. That's a very good position that'll help you with the relieving constipation, so getting the poo out, okay? So if you could put something under your feet, that'll help your knees come up a little bit and you'll be in a semi-squatting position. Now I'm going to talk about a little bit what are the things out there that you can buy. There are some bulk forming fibers like the Isfahula husk fiber gel they're called, and there are these soluble fibers as well. Fiber we need a lot, so we need 30 grams of fiber per day on average. Even a 2-year-old needs 15 grams of fiber, so on average our children are not getting enough fiber. A good way to encourage them is to have that 5 fruit and vegetables per day and put it as a reward thing, that they make sure they have that fruit and vegetables, okay? But fiber is super important. You can have an additional fiber gel on a daily basis to make sure that you hit the fiber target and make sure that the movement's happening. There are other kind of constipation relief. They're called the osmotic laxatives, and what they do is they prevent the water from going out of your digestive system. They'll help reabsorb it back, and that makes the poo stay soft and easy to move out. So there are the Movico sachets, there's also the lactulose liquid, and both of these work the same way. They work with the fluids staying back into the digestive system, and you can use those every day as well. The third ones are the stimulant ones that work on the triggers, and they stimulate the triggers in the brain that will make you have a bowel movement a couple of hours after. They're quite strong, like the Senokot tablets, like the Dulcolax, especially if you're going through a bout of constipation. You want to get back into a routine. Having that stimulant helps you. You can use it for a couple of days, a week, or maximum 2 weeks, but then go back onto the fibers and the osmotics. If it was even harder than that, or you've tried all of these, it's quite difficult, glycerin suppositories are quite helpful, okay? And they're also helpful if you feel that you can't take tablets orally. What I want to check with you, and what comes up a lot when doing consultations, is the medications that you might have been using for a long time, and when you start the GLPs, they sort of stack up the constipation side effect, okay? A lot of them are quite routine ones. You need to take them for different conditions, so I don't want you to stop taking them, but I want you to make sure that you address the constipation that can come up while you're using them, as well as the weight loss journey and the GLPs, okay? One of the big common culprits are the opioid painkillers, so codeine-based cocodamol, morphine, tramadol, all of these cause constipation by themselves, and whilst you're taking GLPs, they make it worse. The other ones are the amitriptyline and nortriptyline. These are really important for nerve pain, and you need to take them regularly. But again, be mindful that they can cause constipation. GLPs can cause constipation, so you do need to put a constipation relief in hand. Also, pregabalin and gabapentin. These cause constipation as well as some of the medicines like oxybutynin. So these help with reducing the bladder irritation. Oxybutynin's also the old antihistamines like the promethazine. These ones can cause constipation too. And some of the blood pressure medications, okay, so like verapamil, glutazione, these can cause constipation too. These are your regular medications. You need to make sure that you take them. As I said, the important thing is to address that they might cause more constipation. There is a whole group of supplements as well, okay? So those supplements are important to acknowledge, like the iron tablets. Iron tablets not only can cause constipation, they can change the color of your poo as well. So iron tablets can cause constipation. Calcium and vitamin D can cause a bit of constipation as well. Also, if you take fiber without water, those can cause constipation because they cause packed bulk that doesn't have a way to get out. So water with fiber is really important. If you do get constipated and you're taking these supplements, it's perfectly fine to stop taking them for a while until you've got the constipation relieved, okay? So relieving the constipation is very important. We don't want you to have a chronic constipation. So it's really important to make sure that you have a regular movement. What do you need to do about your injections? One key important thing is if you have side effects, whatever they are, the rule is you never go up, depending on how severe the side effect is. First of all, we need to make sure we manage it, okay? So as long as the side effects are manageable for yourself, so you know that you're gonna get a little bit of constipation, you know how to sort it, that's perfectly fine. But if it becomes harder than that, it's fine to take a break. So take a break for 1 or 2 weeks. Make sure that your movements and digestion get back on track, because your body is this amazing machine that's doing so many different functions. So you really need to make sure that you take care of it. So take a break from the supplements and relieve the constipation. Then you can add these back eventually. So start back with your GLPs, then start back with one of the supplements, and then you can just add on like that. Okay, for when you are constipated, if you feel that you're really having a hard time when you're going to the toilet, first thing, start drinking liquids, then start adding with the fiber or an osmotic laxative like a lactulose, or you can add both. Again, there are a lot of these in natural food as well. So good laxatives in fruit and vegetables are beetroots, prune, courgettes, kiwi. Perfectly fine to add these into your regular days, okay? And then take a look at what else are you taking, both medication wise, prescribed medication and supplements. All right, what do you need to keep an eye out for? If you have tummy pain, so if you feel bloated, if you feel really swollen, if it's very, very difficult for you to pass, or if you start seeing blood in your poo, those are the important signs that you shouldn't ignore and you should get help for, okay? As a recap, constipation is a very common side effect. It's really important to build in daily routines that will help you keep it at bay. But if you had any questions, just feel free to reach out to us and sign up to our channel. There's always good advice about how to manage the GLP injections and the rest of your medication. This video is part of our Fixit First series, where I'll be reviewing all of the GLP side effects, okay? Thank you.